If you are not in those general pathways of flows of traffic, you're kind of screwed. Hello, I made it to my hotel. A quick little intro. We're now in Austin, Texas for Dreamcon. Dreamcon, if you don't know, it's a 3-day anime/gaming convention run by RDC World. And this is my this is my 4th year at Dreamcon? Yeah, this is my 4th year. Wow. Yeah, this is my 4th year at Dreamcon. I'm super excited. I got here at like 11. I got to Austin at like 11 o'clock and then like waiting for the baggage and then taking the Uber and all that. I got to the hotel around 12, so I had to check in early, and I think that was like a $35 charge for checking in early. Load-in should have started by now because it's from 12. It's either 12 to 8 or 12 to 9. I know it starts at 12, so it's like 12:15 right now. So I just wanted to say hi to y'all and introduce you to the vlog, and then I'm about to go and set up my booth. It's just me this time. Last year I had a couple of helpers, and this year it's just me, and I have an inline 1 single booth instead of a double booth that I had last year, just because I know how to just like fit everything on at least an 8-foot table, and I have less products and stuff like that, but just like less inventory in general. So if I was to do a 2-booth setup, it wouldn't necessarily just be for display, but just for like the amount of stock that I would need, that I would be bringing. Like if I had a lot of inventory, I just want another booth just for inventory alone. But because I don't have that much inventory this time, 1 single booth is gonna be it for me, because I have to split what I have between Dreamcon and Otakon next week. So I'm like, I don't really need that much space for Dreamcon this year because I don't have that much inventory. But I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be really fun this year. They have a lot of shit going on. I'm not gonna lie to you. They have a lot of shit going on. They have like a party, not even saying a party every single night. They have like multiple parties every single night. And like even during the con hours, there are other events going on. Like they have, what is it called? Like a block party on Saturday during exhibitor hours, which is wild. Not like the full day, but like towards the end of like the exhibitor like day. But I'm just like, there's just so much going on. If I was just like a regular attendee, I feel like I'd be genuinely, sorry for my luggage back there. You guys got it all open, but whatever. But if I was like a regular attendee, I feel like I would be super overwhelmed coming to Dreamcon, especially for the first time, just because like in comparison to a lot of other events, there's just so much shit going on here, to the point where we're just like, damn, I don't really want to do any of it. I just want to stay. I want to go sleep in my bed. A little bit overwhelming. But now that I've settled down, let's go set up the booth. So we're staying in the Hilton. So it's the host hotel for the convention. There's even registration for like badge pickup downstairs for like the regular attendees. The vendors and the artists and stuff have to pick up their badges by the loading dock of the convention center, which is right across the street from here. So it's like really convenient to just be here. It's a little expensive, but super convenient. So I'm like looking out to the view. I'm tired. I went to bed at 1 o'clock, and then I had to get up to go to LAX by 3. So I got an hour and a half of sleep. Dang, you can't see me smile, but I'm smiling. So I'm exhausted. So I have to set up the booth by myself. I hope to get it done by 5 p.m. because I want to come back and then sleep so that I can go out later on with my friends. Tired. But yeah, let's get into it. Dreamcon, yay! Okay, I went to UPS and I only was able to pick up 2 boxes because the others came in today and they haven't been like officially checked in yet. So I have to wait for her to actually check it in and then I could go pick it up. So I have the 2 boxes, I have my 2 cases. I'm gonna just see what I have in there and see what I could take out and start like building up. But I'm just hot and tired. Okay, I did not show you guys me building this setup, but I basically made a 8-foot table kind of setup. Even though I have a 6-foot table, I literally just bought an extra 6-foot table to use on the side, which I can also use for like storage and stuff in the back. But I wanted a full 8-foot display. So instead of having 2 feet like width for the bonnets and the directs, I made it 3 feet this time. So I have the 3 brick cubes going across. Put the totes right there. I'm gonna put the wigs right here like I did for Anime Expo. And then I moved the edge wraps and scrunchies and stuff and eyelashes to the side just because I wanted to have that 2-space window right there. But when I got my packages, like I mentioned earlier, the 2 boxes were here. And then I went back to pick up the rest that was supposed to be delivered late or whatever. And there was, I think, 3 more boxes. I sent 7 boxes. That means there's 2 boxes missing. I checked the status of it. It said that it was delayed or whatever, and it might come tomorrow. Inside those boxes are my display stuff. So the display bonnets and do-rags, my sticker display stuff, and everything else are in those boxes. So I really hope they come tomorrow because I need to be able to display my stuff. Thankfully, I didn't ship my grade cubes, and I had it in my luggage, so I was able to set all of this up. So I got the base done, but I have to actually put the display stuff up tomorrow. If it doesn't come in tomorrow in the morning, then I don't know, man. I might have to do everything over. I might have to make more display stuff because I have to make the inserts. Let me show you guys. So this is the do-rags inserts that I put inside the do-rag, and then for the bonnet, I think it fell on the ground. For the bonnet is that little circle that I put inside. So I would need to go to Target and actually buy more poster board and cut all of this out. And then make all of it. It's too much to do. It's all tomorrow. Just deliver my stuff, please, please. But I think I'm just gonna leave like this for today. This is the booth thus far. It's my first time doing a full 8. Is it? I feel like I low-key did an 8 foot at LA Comic Con. But with all my stuff on one table, this is my first time doing this. It's pretty cool right now. Let me show you guys around the hall. And loading in was pretty easy. It's pretty seamless. You just went in through the loading docks. This is the Oh My Senpai booth coming together. The Oh My Senpai booth. And then she has this place where they can take pictures on the side, similar to last year. So that's gonna be super cute. A lot of people are still setting up right now. I'm really tired. I'm so sad my stuff is not here yet. But this is where the loading docks are. Over there, and that's where the exhibitor help desk is. So that's where you get your badge and everything like that. And then you come in and then you load in. I'm so excited to check out all these artists. Actually, what's different for this time for Artist Alley is that they actually have the backgrounds. I don't think they have these background displays. They actually have space behind their booths. This is crazy. Hi, Sarah. Wow. I feel like I can get an Artist Alley table, to be honest. This is way more space. This is way more space than last year. I could have just did an Artist Alley table. That's crazy. I might do that next year. If they have the same setup, I might just do that next year. Holy shit. You guys are stuck in the elevator. We gotta save him. We gotta save you, Tess. Everybody else in the elevator. I have Shirley's friend from high school, Kimmy, friend from middle school. They came all the way here and surprised me, honestly, because I was not expecting them to be here. I was so shocked when I saw them.
Support, you gotta pop out and show.
No, for real, y'all can miss that. I'm so glad
Walk
to see
the
y'all.
life right here.
Look at this cute little pen. Wait, hold on, it gotta focus. You guys gotta see the beauty of it. There we go. This is macaroni and cheese. This little craft pen. And you said you made it? Oh, hold on. It's trying to focus. There we go. Yeah, they gave me this pen. It's so cute. Thank you so much. Yeah. You look so good. Yay, thank you. Good morning.
Hi, I returned to come back to the road. Yeah.
You liked it?
I bought several bottles.
What else I got? I mean, did you buy the plastic one yesterday? Okay.
I got the black one.
And then I got the pie style clothes.
Oh.
I on it.
How much is that?
These are 20. And then
20.
so got 3 for 40 for these. I'm dropping 3 new prints in the fall. So I have them as Dreamcon exclusive. They're towards the end, paisley prints. So I have the green one, and the black tie.
Oh.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
Good. I came back because we're still setting up, and then you got swarmed. And I was like, you know what?
did get swarmed. You're so right.
I'm gonna come back because I'm not gonna be that person.
Thank you for coming back.
Oh,
Let me know if you have any questions.
of course. No, it's not. And then I had said I wasn't gonna get a controller for him.
I'm so glad you enjoyed the product. Thank you. Of course. Have a great day. You too. That's what I came here for. For the scrunchies?
Yes.
Oh my god. I saw them. Yeah, they're all, that's like a discount bit. So they're all this one. I'm okay with it.
I had ordered the coat and the emoji and then the cover up.
I was coming back. It's already sold out.
I did have a like.
I was thinking about going on both of them. I'm probably good.
Yeah, those nominal scrunchies. Okay, black and white crowd. Okay. Like a receipt.
I think the guy.
Standard size, I don't think I travel size. But that was doesn't make me have a big one.
Standard like
Hey?
Okay, that's hard.
Yeah, you buff it up, it looks so nice.
This is gonna be just for the day to match my fit.
And I can buff it up for you if you
Let me
want.
see how it look again. I think it look good like that. Maybe like cutting.
Yeah. I mean, not the one on display. I'll get you one in the back. Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to stop by and say hi.
Hi.
On Instagram.
Thank you.
And TikTok and everything else.
Thank you so much. Yes, I love Crochet Gang.
I love your hats and everything.
Thank you so much.
They got like the live action One Piece actor to wear it.
Yeah.
At Megara A. Bear. Who will be the voice of Chopper? Me! Chopper!
Another stylist, so he hit me up, but then I went to the Netflix studio before they shot for that video, and then he wore his head. Bro, like that? Okay, cool. Of course. No problem. Hi there, thank you for waiting. It's like cream. Yeah. And did you need a bag for that?
No, actually, I'm good.
So if you can tape these magnets to the back of these.
Oh, you look so cute. Say hi, Taylor. Yeah. Oh, my senpai, hard worker. And we're feasting to fry food. Okay, so I'm currently still in Austin, but now I'm getting ready for Otakon. And as you can see here, I have 4 boxes packed and I'm ready to ship it over to DC. So when I packed for Dreamcon, I made sure that I had enough inventory where it's just like I don't have to bring that much stuff when I get back to LA to go to DC. So I basically packed excess, knowing that I had Otakon coming up so that I can directly ship from Austin to DC. So that's what I just did. All the leftover stuff that I have from Dreamcon, I packed it all up and I'm gonna ship it off to DC right now. I counted the inventory for everything so I know what I do have already that's gonna be sent there and what else I need to bring from LA when I get back later today. Or yeah, I'm gonna get back later today, but when I leave for DC later this week. So I can have a lighter load in my suitcases because I'm not going to ship anything from LA to DC. It's not going to be able to get there in time. So I just made sure that the bulk of the stuff will already be there and I just have to bring like a little things that are missing. But it's looking good. I can't wait to go back home right now and then get ready for the next show.
All right, it's recap time. I had a really fun time at Dreamcon. I feel like as each year goes by, it just keeps getting better and better. And it's probably one of my favorite years yet. And I tell people that every time I go to Dreamcon, it kind of feels like a family reunion to me because that's the time I get to see all of my friends across the world, well, across the US. A lot of them tend to come to Dreamcon. Just like such a fun vibe and time every time Dreamcon rolls around because we're all like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in the whole year. And we get all giddy and it's always a really, really sweet time. And outside of that, they have like a lot of fun entertainment and events, the panels, the competitions, the parties, all of that. Dreamcon is definitely a weekend of entertainment, I would say. And as always, thank you so much to every single person who stopped by my booth. It genuinely means so much to me whenever you guys come and say hi. And the love I get at Dreamcon each year is just crazy. And I would say a part of this is probably because I would say a good chunk of Kembeckeld's customer base also attends Dreamcon. Probably like 10% of my customer base, which is a lot. So getting to see all those people in person and having them actually be able to see me in person and shop with the brands and support me is just, I love it so much. So if you came to the booth, thank you so freaking much. So although I've been to Dreamcon for probably 4 or 5 years at this point, this is my second year actually having a full booth of my own for my brand. And I did note some improvements from last year, one of which was the load-in process was seamless. I know last year they had some issues with the loading docks, so unloading was a little bit stressful for some people. However, they definitely fixed the bugs with that, and I had no problem getting my stuff inside and just unloading everything. Another thing that I saw that they changed was the load-in hours. Last year, I made a complaint about it last year. It was from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Thursday. 4 hours for setup was ridiculous. But this year, they had it from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. So they gave us 4 additional hours. And although I wasn't able to use the whole 8 hours because my stuff got delayed, as you saw, I was still really appreciative of the fact that we had a full 8 hours for setup. So the fact that they increased that, good job, Dreamcon. I appreciate it. That delay with my boxes was really annoying and genuinely just impacted me all weekend, I'm not gonna lie. However, I did learn from it that instead of shipping out my stuff a week in advance, I probably have to do a week and a half in advance at the latest, simply because I don't think it's enough for it to just come on time. I think it'd be better for it to just get there early and give a nice little buffer window in cases of delays, in cases of processing, because as it was the case for me, it's not enough for it to just get there on time. there still has to be time for them to actually process the packages. So it would get there and it would just be in a unit until it's actually processed. So you can go and be like, hey, my stuff got delivered yesterday. Can I pick it up now? And they're like, oh, we have not processed that yet. And you can't pick it up at that time. So definitely just leaving a nice little buffer window for any kind of mishaps that may happen so that you're able to pick it up as soon as you get there. So I just know for next time when I'm going to any convention, just to ship out my products at least a week and a half in advance, just to make sure that it's good for pickup whenever I get there. Now let's break down those expenses. So this is how much the booth costs with the taxes and fees, and it literally doubled in price from the previous year. So I was over on the vendor side, but even the artist alley side doubled in price as well. So the vendor side went from $400 to $800, and then the artist alley side went from $200 to $400. So it's like, whoa, that's a lot. So instead of doing a double booth, I just went ahead and did a single booth this time around. So I'm paying the same exact price that I paid last year, but for half the space, unfortunately. Next, this is how much I paid for my hotel. I stayed in the exact same hotel as I did last year, which was the Hilton across the street from the convention center. The only difference this time was that I didn't share a room with my friend like I did the previous year. So I had to front the full cost of the hotel room this time because it was just me in there. So that's the price for that. Next, this is how much I paid for my flight, which looking back now was hella expensive. But the reason for it is because I actually booked my flight like very, very late. And when I say very, very late, I mean the con started on the 26th of July. I bought my ticket on the 17th. So like a week before the convention. So that's why it cost so much. I feel like it shouldn't have cost any more than probably like $300, but I literally paid double because I bought it so late. And the reason for it is because I just think I had a lot going on in July and like the previous month, like in my life. So I just didn't buy my ticket when I should have, but you know, it is what it is. And then lastly, this is how much I paid for shipping my inventory over to Dreamcon. And like I said in the vlog, I intentionally overpacked for my inventory for Dreamcon simply because I had a next show right after it, which was Otakon, and it was only 5 days after the end of Dreamcon. So I would not have enough time to go back to LA and then ship my products over to Otakon because it wouldn't arrive on time. And I didn't have enough surplus of stock to just send half to Dreamcon and then half to Otakon in advance. And plus I had just done AX and it was already made me low in my inventory after that. So I was just, I only had so much. So I was like, I'm gonna just send everything to Dreamcon. Whatever is left over afterward will just go straight to Otakon because that's in a whole nother state. So that's what I ended up doing. So that's why the shipping cost is a little bit higher, but nothing in comparison to what I paid last year in Dreamcon. If you saw that vlog, then you saw the amount that I paid for shipping. I was very, very, very new to the whole shipping products to convention scene. And that was my very first convention that I shipped a product to because it was my very first out of state one. Nothing in comparison to what I paid before. That was a newbie at that point, but now I'm a little bit more experienced. I know the right ways and the right channels to take in order to ship out my products. So that's how much I paid for shipping that. All of this brought my expenses to over $3,000, which is pretty similar to what I paid last year. It's just like some of the numbers have kind of moved around. I will say, if I can just lock in with Dreamcon a little bit earlier and finalize all of my purchases in an earlier like time frame, then this can definitely be closer to $2,000 instead of over $3,000. $3,000 is a scary amount of money to spend for an out-of-state convention. And this was actually my most expensive con to be at for 2024. But what if I tell you I made all this back the very first day? I'm not joking with you. I don't know what it is about the Dreamcon attendees, but it's as though the money in their pockets is burning a hole in it and they just want to get rid of it all. This is what my sales progression looked like for that weekend at Dreamcon. And as you can see, Friday and Saturday look pretty similar in numbers. And then you see a huge dip on Sunday. What if I tell you that dip, like that little chunk right there, is equivalent to my day 2 at AX. And I did really, really good on my day 2 of AX as well. I doubled that on the Fridays and Saturdays.
Like DreamCon is a very crazy convention to be at. So although this was my most expensive con to vend at, it was also my best show sales wise. And there's a couple of reasons why I think that was the case. For one, the attendees at DreamCon are not, for the most part, they are not the same people that go to all the conventions that you see kind of like across the world. For a lot of these people, DreamCon is the only con that they kind of like ever attend. So a lot of these folks, they kind of save all year and plan for DreamCon to be like that one thing that they go to. So in comparison to some other attendees that you see at other cons, they might go to Anime Expo, and then Anime Expo Chibi, and then Anime Pasadena, and then all this other stuff. So their money is kind of spread out throughout the year, whereas the people at DreamCon are just like, this is the only con I'm spending money at. So not only that, I just think that they're just super supportive for a lot of the things that you have going on. So they're really willing to just spend at this convention. So it's like the money just kind of flying everywhere. Two, as I mentioned, a nice considerable percentage of my customer base actually attends DreamCon as well. So have a lot of them come to my booth and support as well. And third, and probably the most important one, the vendor hall at DreamCon is not that big at all. There are only about 85 artists as well as 85 exhibitors. So in total, there's probably 170 vendors in this one hall. For comparison, that is less than half of MomoCon's Artist Alley. Not the Artist Alley with the exhibitors, not like the whole entire vendors at MomoCon. Half of just their Artist Alley is the whole entire vendor hall for DreamCon. So it is super duper small. And I believe for 2024, DreamCon had an attendance that was about 23,000. So attendee wise, it's about half the size of MomoCon. But when it comes to the vendors, like including the Artist Alley and the exhibitors, it's like a quarter of the size of their vendors. I know I keep using MomoCon as a reference, but it's just like, I feel like it gets compared to DreamCon a lot in my spaces. So basically, to get a sense of how you do at MomoCon, if it had DreamCon's attendee to vendor ratio, imagine you were doing MomoCon with the exact same amount of attendees that they had. I think it was 55,000, that same amount, but half the amount of vendors in the hall. That is a crazy difference and allows you to make so much more money, because as we all know, the less amount of vendors there are in a hall, the higher your potential for making profit is, because there is less competition as well as just more money to go around. So that's basically what DreamCon is in a sense. The vendor to attendee ratio is so freaking great that everyone in the room, as long as you're in the room, basically you're leaving here with some. Now, if for some reason they were to increase the amount of vendors that they had at DreamCon, I don't know, the profits might not be looking the same. So I really hope that they keep it the way it is. But as it is right now, the low vendor count is doing us very, very well. Now, just a couple of things to note. There is a very considerable dip on this Saturday at DreamCon. And I did mention this in my DreamCon 2023 vlog. So basically, you could be doing really, really well on Friday and be like, oh my gosh, there's so many people here, the money is flowing, yada, yada, yada. And then Saturday rolls around and then you see a crazy dip in foot traffic. And the reason why this is the case is because of the way that DreamCon is set up. So in comparison to some other conventions that you typically see, you usually have a handful of people in the vendor hall, a nice little chunk in the Artist Alley, some people walking through the halls, some people at panels, some people outside. That's how it is at most cons. DreamCon is just really, really different. They are a very entertainment focused event. So a lot of the prime events that they have are on Saturday. They have things like the Dodgeball tournament, the Smash Bros tournament, the Family Feud, and just like a lot of hot panels and stuff like that. And the people that come to DreamCon all want to be at these events because a lot of them are kind of run by influencers and streamers and stuff like that, and a lot of people that they kind of like idolize and stuff. So once Saturday rolls around, a lot of these attendees are in line for those events, so it can leave the halls feeling very, very empty. So I just wanted to kind of make you aware of that so you're not caught off guard with just like a lack of foot traffic on Saturday. It does pick up later in that day, and as you can see, the sales that I had for Friday were pretty much kind of similar to what I had on Saturday. So we definitely make up for it like after people kind of get out of those events. But I did want to highlight that just in case you do want to vend at this event, so you're not taking it back from what I call the DreamCon dip. Next is the application process. DreamCon has an open period for their applications as well as rolling approval. So I believe their applications are open for
something crazy, like 5 months. And then after that's closed, they start getting back to people about like a month later on a rolling basis. So I believe for 2024, the applications were open from October to February. And then I got my approval in mid-March. But they do note that you can get an approval as late as a month before the convention. So I just want to make note of that. Let you know, like, you can apply as soon as the application's open and you won't be hearing back for half a year. So I don't know, do what you will with that information. I think that they get back to you extremely late. It makes me uncomfortable. I think that's in part why I kind of got my stuff late, like all of my reservations and stuff, because I didn't hear back from them until so late, and I didn't know where I was placed until so late. So they just get back to you so close to when the convention takes place, and it's very nerve-wracking to me. I wish they would make that whole process shorter and get back to you earlier in the year, but that's how it is. I'm just giving you a heads up. You might have a little bit of anxiety with this one, especially with the rolling announcements. So with a lot of other cons, kind of everyone is gotten back to you at the same time with like one huge mass email blast, but that's not the case with Dreamcon. Some people can hear back in March, some in February, some in April, some in June. Like, it all varies. So if you're that person that gets really anxious when it comes to the application processes for conventions, I'm just letting you know right now, this one is a little bit of a doozy. Next is the Artist Alley. So for Dreamcon, in comparison to the previous years, they've actually increased the amount of space that they give to artists, and they've even included like pipes and draping. So now the artists have like a back wall for their table space, which I think is really cool. And in addition to that, artists are able to select multiple tables at Dreamcon. So for other conventions, when it comes to the Artist Alley, artists are typically only giving one table, like you can't expand past that. But for Dreamcon, you can get up to 4 tables as an artist. That's insane. I don't think I've ever seen a convention give artists that much space. So for 2025, I'm letting you know right now, I'm moving from the vendor side over to the Artist Alley side. Not only because of just like being able to get 4 tables, which is cool, but they've increased the amount for the vendor booths again, another $400. So it went from $800 from 2024 year. For 2025, it's gonna be $1,200. Who's paying $1,200? Especially knowing I need at least 2 booths, because I want to do, like, Dreamcon is my biggest show. I want it to be really nice. So I'm just like, I'm not paying that. Especially if I can get 3 tables in the Artist Alley side for the exact same price. And when you're getting a booth at Dreamcon, like the vendor side, you can only get 2 badges, like 2 exhibitor badges per booth. So for the same exact price, I can just go over to Artist Alley and they give you 6 badges. They give you 2 badges per table. If I get 3 tables, I get 6 exhibitor badges. I'm just gonna go over to the Artist Alley. It just seemed like a no-brainer to me. So if you're looking for me next year, I'm gonna be over in the Artist Alley side. I'm not gonna be in the vendor side. Find me over in the Artist Alley. I'm going over there. Now, although I had a great time at Dreamcon, there were a couple of things that I was straight up not a fan of, and that I think can be improved. So that leads us perfectly into Becca's 2 cents from the 10. My 2 cents from the 10 are the part of the video where I give the showrunners actionable steps that they can take in order to make these events better for both the attendees and the vendors alike. For my cent number 1, it's the please be mindful of the hall layout. When it comes to booth placement, they actually get back to you pretty late in comparison to other conventions. So about a month and a half before the con actually started, they sent out an email saying that we would get our booth placements on July 1st. So July 1st comes around, they sent out the email with the placements, and they included like this blurb underneath the link for the map that stated something like, this link will have the latest version as we draw closer to the event. In other words, the map hasn't been finalized yet. It's short for that, and that they can change it at any time, basically. But per the map that I received, I was like, okay, cool. I have a corner booth. They placed me near my friend Taylor. Sweet, nice. So I'm planning for this corner booth. I'm, getting my stuff ready. And then they don't say anything. And then I check a week before Dreamcon is supposed to start. So that Friday, I believe, I checked the map again and it's changed. They now have moved me from a corner booth where I was located, and they put me in an inline booth that is just like changed the structure of like that part of the map. So I was like, that's weird. Why didn't they send an email? They ended up sending an email, I think on the Tuesday
or Monday, like the week of. So a couple of days after, I noticed it myself. So that happened. So it's like, oh, that's crazy, because the way I prepare for an inline booth and the way I would prepare for a corner booth are just totally different things of preparation. Like there's just a lot more stuff I would bring for a corner booth, because I would have like 2 tables. The setup would be different. So I'm like, damn, I have to change everything. So a week before the con, I'm like scrambling to kind of just change my setup. I'm like, how will I have everything on just a 6-foot table that they provide? So I'm like changing everything, and I do that, which is fine. Like I'm able to adapt. It's not really a huge deal. It's not ideal, but it's not a huge deal. So that happens. But that wasn't my main gripe. My main gripe was the way that they just structured my section of the map. So basically, they have me in a dead zone. Now, when it comes to conventions, events, yada, 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 they typically have the tables arranged in a cohesive format for the most part. So when they have the tables lined up, attendees usually go down one aisle, go around, up another aisle, and just kind of continue that snake motion in a sense. The issue was the way that Dreamcon had it was just, it wasn't that. So looking at the Dreamcon map, I would say these are the vertical paths, like the ones highlighted right here. These would probably be the vertical paths of the hall. And then these would be the horizontal paths in the hall. And when I say paths, I'm just talking about the general flow of traffic. That's kind of what you would expect the attendees to kind of move through going out throughout the hall. And of course, there'll be people that kind of divert off those paths, but it wouldn't be the vast majority. So if you are not in those general pathways of flows of traffic, you're kind of screwed. So that's basically where I was. That's where I was. So the place that they kind of position my booth in, it's the only part of the map, as you see, where the vendors aren't aligned in the same way. So I would say for the most part, the vendor blocks are kind of all laid horizontally, as you would see, but only my section of the map that they just have it be vertical, which just threw everything off. And placement wise, I was actually in the very front of your hall, which what you think is a good thing, because the entrance, as you'll see, the entrance is right here, and then my booth is right here. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm right in front. People will find me really, really easily. However, as soon as you walk in, I am right behind the V1 Tech booth. If you've ever been at a convention, you know the sheer size of these V1 Tech booths. Like they have these huge panel displays for like all of the prints and stuff that they sell, which is really cool to look at. However, us in the inline booths in that section were just in the shadow of the V1 Tech booths, and the attendees would come in and go down that main like horizontal path and just keep on walking, because they didn't know that there are any booths behind the V1 Tech booth. So we were basically in a blind spot, and it was so freaking bad. And although this is my first year at Dreamcon and I already kind of had like a customer base there, I felt so freaking bad for my booth neighbor, who was super duper sweet. If you're watching this, hey neighbor, hope you're doing well. But yeah, he was super duper sweet, and I was just telling him like, damn, we have such a terrible placement, because in the aisle in front of us, it was just so freaking slow, and to the point where I was thinking like, dang, maybe that many people didn't attend Dreamcon. It wasn't until I walked around like, no, it's packed literally everywhere else except from our aisle, because no one knows that we're there. And I'm the type of person where I don't really leave it up to kind of like luck or layout when it comes to getting people to come to my booth. So what I do in advance is that I actually make a post with my placement on the map, letting my followers know like, hey guys, I'm gonna be at this convention. This is exactly where you can find me. Even with that, people still told me, Becca, I could not find your booth. Or even if they ended up finding it, they're like, I struggled to find it. There were people that I brought to my booth for certain things that told me, Becca, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had no idea how to get back to your booth because I didn't know where it was. It was such a blind spot throughout the hall, and it was so unnaturally designed. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I know I suffered terribly because of the placement that I had this year. If I was placed on more of a natural pathway, I would have easily, I know this for a fact, at least made like 5K more
for that weekend. I missed out on a lot of money just being placed where I was. And I saw that even with the inventory that I brought, like there were certain pieces where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna do really, really well at Dreamcon. And I had a lot left than I thought I initially would coming into it. But it was because people couldn't find where I was. And I know this for a fact, not even me trying to guess. I received emails from people telling me, Becca, I looked for you at Dreamcon, but I could not find your booth for the life of me. And that was just so frustrating. Yeah, I missed out on so many sales because of that. I still did well. However, I could have done so much better if I had not been placed in such a shitty spot. So for next year, please, it's not even just like a me thing. I don't care if it's just me moves to a better spot. Don't have that layout at all. I don't want to see anyone suffer with such crappy placement and like such crappy layout. So please, if you're gonna have all the booths be one way, just keep that consistent throughout the con. Don't just have one specific section that is like that. Like, it just screwed us over. I talked to my neighbor. Luckily, he also did well. And I was like, oh, would you come back to Dreamcon? Because I always like to kind of check in. He's like, yeah, he would come back. Like, it's a pretty good show. And I was like, you would do so much better if we weren't where we were. So thankfully, he said that he would come back. So I'm like, oh, yay. Nice. But please don't do that again. Don't do that again. Number 2 for me is the loud music. So I've been noticing kind of a pattern at conventions more and more is that there has been a lot of noise in these vendor halls. So there will be sometimes some vendor booths playing music, or there would be kind of like a stage nearby where they have live performances and stuff like that. And for me personally, it's very frustrating. And when it comes to these conventions, Dreamcon is no exception. So in 2023, I actually lost my voice at the end of the con like weekend because there was a booth, which are my friends, but there's a booth that plays really, really loud music and they have like industrial speakers and everything. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't hear my customers. And I ended up screaming a lot that weekend and my voice was completely shot. So for the following year, I was like, okay, let me put in my preferences on my application. Can you please put me as far as you can from this specific booth? And Dreamcon is really receptive and they listened. So I wasn't close to that booth at all. The issue this time was that they placed me next to, and I mean right next to, a booth that had not only loud music, but live performances. I couldn't hear myself think. It was so loud. It was so freaking loud. And I don't understand how like music and like vendors can really mesh together, because it's hard for us to talk to our customers. And because of my shipment delays, like getting my boxes late, my voice amplifier that I typically use at cons now, it was in one of those boxes. So by Saturday, I had already lost my voice. Like you would hear in certain clips, I don't really sound myself because my voice was already shot from trying to talk to customers on Friday without my amplifier. To kind of solve this issue, what I would suggest, I think it's a little bit late for the 2025 application. However, going forward, if you guys could just include in the application one question that says, do you plan on playing loud music or having live performances at your booth? They can put yes or no. And then the next question being, do you mind being placed by a booth that is playing loud music or having live performances? And then the choices can be yes, no, or I don't mind. I'm gonna click yes so freaking fast. Please don't put me next to any loud booths, please. I can't do it anymore. It's so overstimulating for me. If you guys can add that into the application and then kind of just put all the loud booths on one side of the hall and then kind of have like a quiet corner on the other side with everyone else that does not want to be next to those booths, that would be so amazing. The reason why I'm making the suggestion and not saying like, oh, you should take out the loudness in general and not have any music play in the hall is because I think that these booths are a part of what makes Dreamcon's like vendor hall experience so much different. And I think it definitely helps boost the experience that the attendees have at the hall. If you've been to the Dreamcon hall, it's like so much fun in there. So I'm not trying to take that away from the attendees. I'm just saying, for those of us that kind of want to hear our thoughts, if you can place this on the other side,
I would greatly appreciate it. It's just too much. Ooh, the sun is kind of starting to come through a little bit. And that's it for my 2 cents. Those are a couple of things that they can just work on over time. But overall, I had a great time at Dreamcon. It was so much fun, and I feel like it always is a really, really good time. And it's been really fun to just see how they improve year after year, taking different feedback into consideration and things like that, and just bolstering the convention year after year. It's really, really cool. Also, Dreamcon is basically moved every 2 years, it seems. First, they were over in Waco, and then 2 years later, they had to move over to Dallas Fort Worth, and then 2 years later, over to Austin. And I think they wanted to actually stay in Austin this time. However, the Austin Convention Center is undergoing construction for 2025. So unfortunately, they had to move Dreamcon for 2025 and the foreseeable future. So they actually are moving it over to Houston. So after another 2 years, again, they're moving to Houston this time. So 2025, it'll be in Houston at the George R. Brown Convention Center. So that should be interesting. It's going to be a new city, new venue, new logistics team, new everything. So it's going to be a lot of adjustments for 2025. So I'm interested to see how that'll all play out. So overall, Dreamcon gets a big fat thumbs up from me. I would definitely say try it out if you've been considering it. I know that Dreamcon doesn't really get talked about a lot in the con space, or if people do talk about it, it's from people that had an experience with it several years ago, like when they just started. And Dreamcon changes rapidly every single year to year to year, but it's literally grown so much, and I will literally plan my whole year around Dreamcon. If you're in the Texas area, I'd say check it out. If you sell shonen and gaming merch, I think you do really well here. If you sell more cute merch like I do, I think you would definitely stand out in a good way in the hall. So overall, would I come back to Dreamcon? Absolutely. I would love if they let me in again and again and again. Please let me in. But that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a nice thumbs up. And if you want to see more vendor vlogs like this, please subscribe. I love that so much. And like I mentioned, my next con is going to be Otakon. So I'll have the vlog for that next week. And these are the rest of the events that I have for 2024. So I'll have vlogs for those as well. And if you've been to Dreamcon, I would love to chat about your experience down in the comments. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!